why home prices continue to be unaffordable. That's what we're talking about today on Real Estate with Mariah and Spence. And at the very end, we are going to share impromptu, off the top of our heads, just a little bit of advice for somebody who wants to be a homeowner, but maybe you've been priced out of the market. Maybe you've been looking for a while and you're just getting a little discouraged because of, not maybe you're in that first time buyer price range and there's just not a lot out there. So we'll get to that at the very end. So stay tuned. But first we're going to chat about, sorry, I just cut you off there, why home prices are unaffordable.
Well, I mean, come on. We're living in historical times. I'm on the phone for like over 2 hours yesterday, prospecting, talking to for sale by owners. Maybe you are looking to sell your home for sale by owner. Contact us and let us know how maybe we could help you. I know you're always afraid of a commission. That's why you're wanting to be for sale by owner. But there's always a conversation to be had because ultimately there's a reason why people list homes with the realtors. And it usually tends to make you more money. So just planting that seed, not saying you are for sale by owner wanting to sell, but if you are, contact us. That's what I specialize in specifically. But I was talking in the kitchen last night, actually, with one of your friends. We have a friend visiting us, staying in our house from Hawaii, and she's family to us. And she's never bought a home. She's rented or lived with family members, and I just prompted her last night. We've all had these conversations. Late night in the kitchen, we're eating food.
Late night in the kitchen,
it's like 9, 10 p.m. And I'm just like, Clay, what do you want to do? Like, what do you want? You can delete her name if I've said her name. But anyway, she's like, I don't know. And I was like, you make money, and I go over debt to incomes and just like picking her brain. And the problem that I really feel like, not her specifically, but people out there, first-time home buyers.
Or people that like maybe would be first-time home buyers.
That would be first-time home buyers that
right.
might want to buy, but just has never taken that like leap of faith, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
Is the education side as to like how it can be done rather than somebody telling them what they need to do, what you should have done. You're 10 years late. It's never going to happen. Prices are so inflated. Don't buy right now. Who knows what you guys are hearing, our audience viewing this.
That's true.
My advice is first contact the real estate agent. Could be us if you're looking to live here in Oregon or move to Oregon. But we can connect you with a lender that's going to work for you specifically. And I think that's key because a lot of people, they get overwhelmed very easily.
Yeah.
There's much knowledge out there. Anybody can Google how to buy a house, the lending requirements. But here's the deal. We're not lenders here. I get so confused. I got confused even getting my real estate license 5 years ago. Okay. And that's just real estate, not talking about money. Let the lender do their job. Let them educate you and see how this can become possible to buy a house in this market. Because what I'm experiencing right now on these phone calls I was on yesterday with for sale by owners, back to that story.
Yeah.
These sellers buy a house 3 years ago, or that are now sellers. So they were buyers 3 years ago.
Okay. And now they're wanting to sell.
Now they're wanting to sell. And I'm just poking their brain and saying, well, why are you wanting to sell? Well, they're moving out of state. They're specifically here in Oregon, but they have lived a historical time. And what I mean by that is 3 years ago, equity was not even as high then. We are in such a high equity rich market. It is insane. So if you are a seller, there are some really, really good options for you to resell your property right now, even if you bought just 3 years ago. And I think that's incredible. I think that
crazy.
Is an inheritance. If you have kids, I think there's a lot of goodness going on, and it was absolutely free for you because you took advantage of the time and you bought a house. And so I can circle back to buyers right now, give those testimonial stories. Right. You guys just heard it viewing this video. If you're a buyer looking to buy, maybe you're a first-time home buyer or a third-time buyer, there's opportunity out there still, and there's hope. And a lot of people, they've just got completely cut off by that, and it's kind of disheartening, And so we live this life. We live real estate. This is our full-time jobs, and we have so many great testimonials, but just clients that we talk to weekly that are giving us these real-life experiences. And that's what's been amazing about being in real estate, but living in these times within the last 8 years. It's been so fun.
Yeah, that's true. This is definitely since I got my real estate license 8 years ago now. It's been a wild market. We've seen it go up. We've seen it go down. We've seen times where 6 months on the market was normal without, a lot of action. And then we've seen, obviously, a couple years ago, last year, 40,000+ over asking on everything. So it changes. It's always changing, which is why one of the reasons why it's so important to be educating yourself with what is going on in the rapidly changing housing market. So that's one reason why it's important. Subscribe to this channel. We're on here every week just chatting about what we're seeing right now as real estate agents.
I like how you use the term rapidly changing.
It is rapidly changing. And back to what you were saying though about first-time buyers, and it can just seem really overwhelming just because there's a lot to do and it can just seem like I don't even know where to start. I work with a lot of relocation clients, so people moving to our area in Oregon from all over, and one of the first things I do when I contact or when I work with these clients when they reach out to us is we do either over the phone or a Zoom buyers meeting. So I do these buyer consultations quite often, and something I hear over and over is just I don't know where to start, or it seems really overwhelming from either first-time buyers and even from seasoned buyers who bought before, because things change. You forget the process if you've only been through it one or two times maybe in your life. Right. And so just another reason why, if you're wanting to be a homeowner or just, have your foot in real estate somehow, whether it's through owning your own home or multiple, or however that looks for you, just having knowledge, like that base knowledge, is really important, and that's kind of what we hope to deliver in our show for you guys. Yeah. So
okay, that was your pre-introduction. Yes. Here's your true meat, the meat of today's show, guys. Yeah. So thank you for bearing with us on that. Okay. We just love, sometimes we ramble a little bit too much, but this is very helpful for you guys. If this topic of discussion is valuable, then keep coming back weekly. We do these shows multiple times a week. So we're here to educate you guys.
Okay, so this is, we are going to talk about why home prices just continue to be unaffordable, because everyone keeps asking, when are home prices going to drop? Are they going to drop soon? And so many people predicted and expected that to have already happened. And so here is what's going on, what's really going on, what's holding prices back from dropping in a way, but what's keeping things unaffordable for many people. And this is according to an article on keepingcurrentmatters.com. They have a lot of great resources. So the first, let me take a good breath, because I'm going to read this and it's a lot. So
beautiful.
Okay. Breathe. Mortgage rates. While mortgage rates are higher than they were a year ago, they've hovered primarily between 6 and 7% for nearly 8 months now. Even a small change in mortgage rates impacts your purchasing power. That's why it's so important to lean on your team of real estate professionals, like we've been talking about. We're here for you for expert advice to stay up to date on what's happening in the market. While it's hard to project where mortgage rates will go from here, many experts agree that they'll likely continue to remain around 6 to 7% for the immediate future. Mm-hmm. That's one reason.
And that does align with my current lending officer. Yeah. Because I like poking his brain and just seeing what's going on, and he's educated, like I said. If he's a lender, he's in the money lending world, let that be his job. Yeah. Okay. My job is the realtor's side, the keys, the house, writing offers. Let the lender do his job. So I love asking these guys questions. Yeah. And his prediction, but also what was being told to him in a lot of these meetings. But I mean, he travels and goes to events and stuff. And he's predicting, and the Feds, I believe, has already declared that they're not looking to raise rates at all through the year of 2023. So that's huge. That's really nice to hear. And when I get asked this by a buyer, but even a seller, is, well, the market, it's slow. That's why it's sitting on market longer, days on market. So I'm talking about sellers right now. Yeah. They're blaming it on interest rates. And the reality is things are still selling. Things are selling within like 8 to 12 business days after being listed, getting accepted accepted offer. Of course, we got that escrow period. But what I'm trying to say is it's going and still a great opportunity for buyers right now because inventory is low. Yes, I'm not seeing the competing offers like we were 2 years ago, $40,000 over ask price, inspection free, waiving an appraisal.
No.
That was crazy. That was like insanity. And if you were writing offers and you're a realtor and you're viewing the show today, like you know what we mean by that.
And I think that's also a reason why maybe some sellers are getting a little discouraged or thinking my home's been on the market forever when in reality homes are still selling faster than they were pre-pandemic levels or like however days on market they're still it's still selling quicker than they were before we went through all the madness of the insane low historic interest rates. And so I think it's just a lot about expectations too, because they are sitting longer than before. So if you're like, as a listing agent ourselves, if we're like expecting what happened last year to happen, just because the home's in the same neighborhood or whatever, everyone needs to have a little more patience, but they are still selling. It
comes back though to that simple statement we mentioned earlier in the beginning of the show, relying on the real estate professional, because there's a lot of brokers out there. Everybody knows a realtor, your friend, your mother, sister, cousin, whatever.
Everyone is a realtor.
Not every realtor has gone through market changes and market shifts. And what's really cool and unique about Mariah especially is she's been in the business, not in the 2008 crash, but since 2015. So she has seen when things were on market 60, 90 days, you would have 6-month listing contracts, even a year-long listing contract.
It was a lot slower
didn't expire
than this. Like listings were sitting a lot longer than they are now, and everyone's like freaking out about it being slow.
Mm-hmm. So you just got to revert and remember what things used to be, what they are now, how it can get in the real estate world, and rely on the real estate agent, the professional, to give you that advice if you are optimistic or scared even of getting in the market and letting you know, hey, I think this is doable in your price range after you get pre-approved. There's realities and great expectations to be made if you're relying on the real estate professional.
Yeah. And one thing I love doing for my buyers, or another reason why I think if you are a home buyer, it's important to be, watching shows like this and keeping up with what is happening, is because the advice that I would tell a home buyer as far as what, if they asked me what's going to get my offer accepted, what type of offer should I write, that advice would look drastically different depending on what we're seeing in the market with our other buyers and our sellers. Mm-hmm. And so there's been markets where you have to educate them and tell them I always want to be super straightforward and honest and never, just tell them what they want to hear. Like if it's going to take $40,000 over to get anything accepted, I'm going to tell them that. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, if I think that, days on market for a certain listing's a little higher and I think that we can get closing costs paid for, then I'm going to be honest and tell them that as well. So, yes. So the next is home prices. We're just going to ignore that phone ringing there. Okay. The next reason why home prices continue to be unaffordable is home prices.
Home prices.
So this is why real estate is unaffordable. Over the past few years, as we've been talking about, home prices appreciated rapidly as the record low mortgage rates we saw during the pandemic led to a surge in home buyer demand. The heightened buyer demand happened while the supply of homes for sale was at record low, and the imbalance put upward pressure on home prices. However, today's higher mortgage rates have slowed down price appreciation. Now, let's just take a second to talk about this because I'm hearing people being confused about this. I'm hearing people taking this. We're saying homes are not appreciating as fast as they were. I believe it was like 20% in 1 year.
It was like 16 to even 24%.
Holy cow, that's a lot of money to make just from sitting and owning a home, not touching it in a year. It's crazy. It's mind blowing. Like we've never seen that before.
And those are the examples of the for sale by owners living in a property 3 years and now selling.
They were appreciating more than they ever had before in history because it's normal, it's healthy for homes to appreciate over time, but not that quickly. And so people are thinking that when we say that homes are not appreciating as quickly, I'm seeing a lot of people, especially online, because I get comments from people saying things like home prices are dropping, or what do you mean about home prices still rising? But the thing is, people are confused because home prices, they are still appreciating, but they're not appreciating at 20%. So that means that like home prices have still been going up, just way slower than before. So, and I think people are taking that and they're seeing these headlines and just reading it the wrong way and thinking that like prices have dropped or whatever. But the prediction, we've shared this maybe a few shows back, prediction
like 2 months ago.
For this year of 2023 is, I think, we went over like 5 different predictions and they were all pretty much in the same ballpark of 3 to 4%,
3 to 5,
3 to 5 or so percent appreciation, which means home prices will still go up this year, just not crazy like before. So that's just like, a little clarification on that because I do see a lot of confusion.
To paint a picture though, a lot of people, if they just jumped into real estate and this is their new way of life, within the last 5 years, I guess, they've only seen appreciation, 18+% per year. That's a very, very rapid figure if you're talking about a $300,000 to $400,000 investment. You're making a lot of money year over year.
Yes.
Now, back then, I'd say pre-2016, 17, a great year in market appreciation, 8%. That was a great year. And 8 to 12%.
Yes.
I mean, come on. You're going to be selling and it'll be fine because you made 8, 12% and it was absolutely free.
Even then, back when...
And that was a great year.
Back when I got my real estate license in 2015, and over those, first few years, I had multiple clients who, I'm just thinking of one couple specifically in particular, who I sold their home in West Salem, like maybe 2015, and then they bought another house in Jefferson like a year later.
Oh, I remember.
And they bought another house in Woodburn, and they kept buying this house, living there for a year, selling it, and buying another one, living there for a year, and literally did it like 3 times within the span of my first 3 years being licensed because their homes were just sitting there being like, wow, my home went up this much in value. We didn't even do anything. And that was, like you said, around 8% appreciation. And they made enough to really make it worth it to just keep on moving.
Home hopping. It's a real thing.
It is a real thing. It's kind of what we do, but
we have taken advantage of the market when necessary.
We bought really at the right time, but
or we're just living at the right time.
Yes. I think, yes. It's a good time to own real estate. So wages, this is another thing. According to keepingcurrentmatters.com, let's see what they have to say about this. The most positive factor in affordability right now is rising income. The graph below, which you guys can't see, shows how wages have grown over time. Basically, just to summarize, higher wages improve affordability because they reduce the percentage of your income it takes to pay your mortgage, since you don't have to put as much of your paycheck towards your monthly housing costs. Okay. Home affordability comes down to a combination of rates, prices, and wages. If you have questions about this, or want to go more in depth on maybe how much your home has appreciated over time, we're happy to always do a free CMA. Our information's below. Feel free to reach out. But
in regards to wages and rates, I mean, what I want you guys to realize, our audience, think about your W-2, however your employment has been over the last 3 years. Okay? That's pre-2020. Think about the annual increases that you have received over these last 3 years, on top of all the bonuses, on top of the possible government funds that have been given to you through the pandemic. All of these things have been an increase in wage. And if you're not using that appropriately and you're just spending it, well, that's on you. Foolish, okay? Let's really get down to investing and seeing what's going to work for you that makes your money work for you as well. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We're watching a really unique show on Netflix, actually, and it's about how people are spending their money.
Oh yeah.
It's
pretty interesting. And, I really like it. Yeah.
And it's all just normal people. At the end of the day, we're just people here, and we receive money monthly, usually annually, however you receive money. But I mean, there's inheritance babies.
Yeah.
And it's very true though. How your lifestyle is and how you're spending money can make or break you. I mean, there's millionaires that, of course, you made it to that point, but you can easily become broke.
But that are still living paycheck to paycheck, although your paycheck might be really large.
Yeah.
You just don't have the skills to save, give, invest how you should. And
So for the average Joe, though, revert back to what I just said. 3 years ago, what were you making? Look at your tax returns. Look at today's tax returns. I think we just all went through a tax season. How much more money are you making now than you were? Because if you really put two and two together, we all need to afford a mortgage, right? We need to afford a roof over our head. If it's not a mortgage, it's a rent. Everybody has a roof over our head for the most part. We live in America, okay? We're blessed. But if you're uncomfortable paying this monthly mortgage, I mean, I don't think your rent's going to be any better if you really think about that, because the average rent prices are just, they're a little bit below the average mortgage price right now. I'd say by like $400. But if you look at what you're getting and the freedom, and we talked about equity growth recently just now,
right?
Think about that year over year. That equity growth is another form of wage when you do sell years down the road. So if you combine that yearly, once you do sell, that's a lot of money you're getting year by year, just having a roof over your head and paying maybe a little bit more for a mortgage. But in the end, the result is going to be by far better for you and your family.
Yeah. And what if you decided, I'm going to purchase a little bit below the average, sale price right now, average market value? What if you just said, like, I'm going to lower my standards a little bit. I'm going to look for something that's maybe, 1,000 square feet, or I'm going to look for a older condo, and I'm just going to, put on some new paint, new carpet. That can go a really long way and just make it your own. And instead of renting, that would be my biggest advice. If I was that is honestly what I would do if I wasn't, in my situation. If I was somebody who hadn't purchased real estate yet and was currently renting, that's what I would do, because you can find, especially in our area, there's condos that are very affordable. If you're, willing to buy something that's older, put a small amount of money into it yourself to just fix it up and make it your own. And you are building equity and sheltering income, and it beats, it very much beats renting, because what you could get for, $2,500 a month in our area, it's not a whole lot.
No,
to be completely honest, it's not a lot. No. So
here's
that's
what's
my
really
advice.
Cool though.
What?
In regards to living not below your means but at your means, there's a client I'm working with, and what's really fun is when you guys are living out of state in a different area, and that average income is a lot higher than the area you're looking to move into. So say you're coming from San Francisco or something, and everything's just more expensive there.
Yeah.
Houses are more expensive, your rent's more expensive. When you do the transition elsewhere, that the incomes are less, it just feels like you're living a completely different status at times. And we're dealing with clients doing that right now because they have options to work remotely, but also transfer jobs, same field, just different building elsewhere.
Yeah, we see that all the time.
I have a really cool client doing exactly what you mentioned. Is he lives in this area in California, very expensive, high-priced area, and he's transitioning here to Oregon, and he's just like, I just want home ownership. I want something that's affordable. Yes, I have to be able to purchase it, but it can have a 1 bathroom. It can be a 2-bed. He's going to make it work because he believes in home ownership, but
Good for him.
He's able to make the transition because of the prices here, not where he's located. Right. Where he's located, he said he's like, there's no way I would ever be able to buy a home. I mean, I'm just stuck in this rent cycle, and unless I combine with another owner and just go in as a partnership, which he's not willing to do, it'll just never happen. Right. So he's making the move here to Oregon, and he's going to be happy for it.
Right. That's true. That's a really good point. I mean, Salem specifically, there's a lot of, it's great. It's very interesting to see because we get, like I said, we work with a lot of out-of-state relocation clients, and we get people moving from all over, and many of them are moving from states that are more affordable than where we're at, but also a lot of them are from states that are more expensive. So it is really interesting to just see the different perspectives and how things weigh out. But Salem itself, and there's a lot of towns kind of surrounding, not too far away, that are even a little bit more affordable. I would say is, I know a lot of people say it's unaffordable, it's gotten out of hand, but if you compare it to a lot of other, places on the West Coast at least, I think it's
And I mean, there are areas that you can find affordable housing.
Yeah.
I mean, you really can. These outskirts of towns, you don't have to specifically live in the valley in Salem.
Yeah.
I mean, there's unbelievable opportunity. I've been seeing it. The more south you go from Salem, there's good options. Yes, there are 15, 20-minute drives east or west of I-5, but affordability is there. And there's great loan programs for you guys right now. Some cases, USDA 0 down.
Yeah.
Now, that depends on your monthly income or annual income, but there's opportunity is what I'm saying. So all we got to do is get you connected with the right lender that's going to make it convenient. And that's going to be very key for you guys right now is maybe you're scared. Maybe you've done it before. It didn't work out. You're confused. You got to get connected with somebody that makes the buying process doable for you.
Yeah.
Everybody's different.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us this week. If you are planning on purchasing real estate, then having basic real estate knowledge is going to be in your best interest. So head over to our channel. We have all kinds of playlists, one specifically for first-time home buyers that will definitely bring you value wherever it is that you are purchasing real estate, no matter where at in the country or the world you're located. And we'll see you next week.